Yo, what's going on? Lil Xan, aka Diego. I'm here with my boy Chuck right now. We just had an amazing conversation. I can't wait for y'all to see that, so tune in. Love y'all.
What's up, everybody? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw, here at One World Studios, and we are here with none other than Lil Xan. What up?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me.
Nah, glad to have you, man. First of all, I just want to know what took you so long to get to us, man.
Oh, man, I know. I've been out here a bunch of times, too. I don't know, man. I didn't have the greatest team back there, but now I have a
Okay.
good team, and that's why we're here, obviously.
Yeah, definitely, man. Your team seems pretty thorough. We were talking about Gordon Parks and stuff like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's my boy over there. That's
Yeah.
Joe, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, first of all, I want to know, man, like, first things first, like, where are you with things? You've been kind of, some music's dropped, but you've had different projects that haven't dropped.
A lot of confusion.
A lot of pump fakes.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I regret so many of like the false promises and stuff, but it's a result of where I was at the time in life. I was heavily addicted to multiple different substances, and I had a large following on a platform, and I would just go crazy. I'd think of something real quick, and then to be like, oh, I'm gonna do that, and then before putting effort into it behind you just think of something you think's dope, and you're like, I'm gonna put that out in the world. It was also a result of I was younger too. I was in my early 20s. Now I'm in my late probably
Mid to late.
Yeah, mid to late. And I've done a lot of growing up. And then I would definitely never do no more pump fakes like that.
Okay, good. What about your health, man? I mean, you're named after Xanax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you mentioned multiple things.
Yeah.
What were you on?
Xanax and opiates, like most, like Percocets, like that. It started off Xanax throughout most of the first years, but then I discovered the opiates, and then just combined them both, and it made this crazy version of me.
Really?
There's some dark times, but what's good is there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
I always tell people that, and I feel like I've reached that. I'm in a good place right now in life.
People in general are like kind of fascinated with that. Like last night I finished this series called Painkillers, and before I had watched Dope Sick, and
I've heard of Dope Sick.
yeah, they're both good. I prefer Dope Sick, but I was looking at Painkillers, and I was like, this guy, he was just like, he kind of was addicted, then he beat it, and then he stumbled on somebody else's stuff, and he couldn't resist. Like, is there that kind of battle with you? Back and forth?
That's something you always gotta worry about is. Because I just had this conversation with someone else. I actually don't like how when you get sober for like the first time, whatever, you're always in recovery. I don't like that word recovery. So like I don't want to be 18 years sober, but have to tell people, oh yeah, I'm 18 years in recovery.
Right.
Because it almost implies that like there is no cure and you're always gonna be this label,
Right.
And a lot of rehabs they tell you like they teach you that they believe like, oh, you're always going to be in recovery.
Right.
I just don't like the way that sounds. I want to think that I can become completely healed and just.
So you want to be like I was.
I was
an addict.
I was a drug addict in the past, but I am sober now.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You don't have to like crazy labels and stuff.
Yeah. If I can ask you, and this is just me literally personally asking, because I was really kind of fascinated with. In my head, I'm fascinated with the thought of getting high. Yeah. But I don't do it. But it just seems like something to experience. But like if I could do it without being addicted, I would definitely do it.
You probably honestly, I think a lot of people can dabble in that stuff and do and have a way healthier relationship. It all comes down to like genetic and hereditary things. I have in my family, it goes far back, addiction qualities and addiction traits, like
personality.
Yeah. So, but there's some people that I've met in life that can, in moderation, do that and actually have great careers and they're doing very well financially. And you know, as someone with an addictive personality, I would always see that and be jealous of that, because that's moderation is what I lack, you know.
Right.
And it took me a long time to realize that that's what I lacked, you know. And yeah, I just did a lot of it came with the years growing up, you know, 24, 25, 26, about to be 27 next month. You know, I'm still young, obviously, of course, but I feel like even though it's been just a few years, I feel like it's been like 20 years. You know, I feel like I've done that much knowledge. You know, like I've learned that much. It's an amazing thing to go through something like it's pretty traumatic as that, and then actually come out the other side. You know, because it was a long process. I relapsed right after rehab a couple times, and then went right back. Took some months off. Was messed up again. And then by the fourth time, I ended up just doing the detox portion of it, and it was all I needed. You know, and then I left against their will. They didn't want me. It's called AMA. But I you know, I was fortunate enough to be at that time surrounded by good people, a good team, and good people that keep me away from stuff like that. But as far as the overline, like, do I crave drugs anymore? You know, I'd be lying if I would say there isn't like a time like I think about it sometimes, but I don't think it's ever strong enough to even act. It's just like a little thought in the back of my head, you know.
Are you you have toyed around with changing the name to just your government, Diego?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that out of here now, or?
I've learned to love the Lil Xan persona, and I do like the name Diego. Obviously, it's my name. I have to like it, you know. But now I'm still trying to find a good balance of which one. But I always tell people, like, you can call me Diego or you can call me Lil Xan. That's fine. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody for calling me Lil Xan. Like, I picked that name. I picked that ridiculous, crazy name. And you know, as much trouble as it's got me in, it's shown me a lot of great things in life. I've done a lot of great things and met a lot of cool people, and I'm very grateful and blessed for that.
So you just referred to Xan as a personality. Is that what it is now?
It was maybe an unintentional personality. It was never like I was putting on like a persona act, but in comparison to the person I am now, it definitely feels like, if you look at it, you'd be like, oh, that's maybe he was playing it up a little bit. He's crazy. No, I was just wild. That's all it was. Yeah.
Now I see the tattoos.
You're
fully committed in that respect. You can't make that up.
No, I had to, man.
What got you started on that?
Yeah, it was a great time. You know, it was like the end of 2015, maybe going into 2016. And a lot of people know that was the birth of like the SoundCloud kind of generation. A lot of the Lils too. You know what I mean? A lot more of them. And that's where I came from. You know, and if you look at a lot of artists that came from that platform in that time frame, 2016 to like beginning of 2019 maybe. You know, a lot of them have face tats, and a lot of them have very interesting appearances that they're, you know, love it, hate it, or interested in it. It was something I saw in the community at the time of a lot of those people that were up and coming back then, and I just felt like exhilarated. You know, it was so rebellious and just kind of punk rock, you know, and that's what like that SoundCloud stuff was. It was very punk rock, like embracing this new kind of sound. Like, who cares what the old heads kind of think about it? You know, we're trying to give them hell a little bit. You know, that's what it reminded me of a lot of.
Right. Yeah, that's so funny you mentioned that. What you know, you've been one of those artists that has gotten a lot significant backlash. You know, how did you deal with that, and was it sort of a snub? Like, were you like purposely trying to piss people off, or were
never? I think after the fact, I was trying to piss people off when the backlash, but not intentionally. No, not intentionally. The Tupac comments. That I always tell a lot of people around me know why that happened. That interview should have never even been aired. Because I wasn't in a good place during the interview. I was angry at that time, and all that came down to was a result of me just trying to get the interview done quicker. Like I was like, next question, next question, and then they just giving me questions, and I'm messing around. I was messing around because I think Tupac's a legend. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't have to explain myself to anybody, but I grew up on a lot of old school West Coast, a lot of old school East Coast. But after that was just a little mishap. It was a result of me not being as mature as I am today, inexperienced with interviews a lot too. But it's crazy. If you would ask me if I could go back and rewrite that, I wouldn't though. Because what that did, now that I'm seeing it, is it started an interesting conversation in hip-hop. I did get a lot of backlash, of course, but as the years have gone by since that moment, it started what I think is a very good conversation in hip-hop. Like, why do these new cats that weren't even born when someone like Tupac was around, why do they have to idolize them like the older people? Yeah. They can appreciate the craft and the music. It's good. It's amazing. It's better than good. But that's just, if you think about it like that, that's some hating stuff right there. It's like he's a young kid, born not even around. I wasn't even around to see the Tupac's greatest moments. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of course, if I was around there, I'd probably have more of a incentive to it. But of course. But everybody has their own time. And I was born. Not in that time. Yo, I wish I was born sometimes back then. It looked like with no social media. Yeah, right. Man, take me there, fact. Bro. Take me there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but it is what it is. We just gotta keep it pushing, man. But at the end of the day, Tupac's a legend, man. Yeah. I'd give him a 10 out of 10 now.
10 out of 10. No, that's a fact. Yeah, man. Yeah, Tupac. I actually interviewed his brother recently.
Oh, dope.
He showed me some things I didn't know.
Yeah. I bet he knows a lot of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, both of them are from New York originally, and I think that's something people don't really know.
See, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about that, but like it's fascinating. Hip hop and just where it was and where it is now and where it's going. It's an always evolving thing. I love it.
We were talking about your dad a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And that he was into hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
What did he sort of give you musically?
Yeah, the foundation, everything, the most important part. He had a very extensive collection of vinyls, anything from jazz stuff to symphony to hip hop to alt rock, indie rock. Right. So I grew up on a combination of a lot of different things. And obviously hip hop being like the root right there. Yeah. And we would just growing up, you would just play it, spin it on the vinyl, and there's something special about vinyl. It has a good sound, Right. And I guess I didn't realize it at the time, but I was just soaking up all that free knowledge and that free game in the music world, and I never intentionally was like, oh, I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna be an artist one day. It kind of just happened. But it was very organic, and it felt very good. It felt very right because there was a lot of misdirection in my life before that. I was a high school dropout, didn't really know what I was gonna do in life to support, people I love. Yeah. But the moment I stepped in the booth, I was like, this feels cool. I like this. I feel good, comfortable, and good people.
Do you remember your first rap?
It was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible, man.
What was it?
It's not even out because we had to spin it back a few times. And like, all right, you got to get a right take for the first song. Because I didn't have anything to latch on to. It's hard when you just are thinking, like, how am I going to rap? Like, what kind of style is it going to be? So I met some good people and took some advice from them, and kind of they helped me formulate this new flow. And it was beautiful. It was a good time.
What kind of rapper would you consider yourself? I've heard emo rap, sad rap, like
it's like when you Google it, it's an emo rap, and I'm like, I didn't know I was emo rap. You know what I mean? A lot of people would probably say the origins are like mumble rap. A lot of the SoundCloud stuff. But as it's progressed, it's really not so much mumble rap. It's a little bit in there, a little bit of what do you say? But like very, very calm, very monotone form, very, very slow. I don't even know what to call it. Like I've made some new music and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this genre? I really don't know.
Now you had a song with someone called "Death of Mumble Rap."
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
Lil Xan. Yeah.
Now
yeah.
what was that about? Like you were rapping on that.
Yeah. It was like a funny little like play because he's a very talented lyricist, you know, and he can rap his ass off. He's dope. And it was just like it was something funny. We were being goofy. We had that was a very funny, weird day. But yeah, it was just like, you know, I mean, in a way, it really is like the death of mumble rap. You know, it really isn't. It's not where it used to be. But yeah, you know, what mumble rap did, it's just evolved.
Yeah.
It's evolved into new styles, new genres, and that's what's great about music is that it influences a lot of different things.
Yeah. When you you know, look back on the stuff you've done thus far, I mean, like Betrayed was a major hit. Are you like what, you know, comparatively speaking, where are you now versus then? Yeah.
I really love that record a lot. I even love it more as time goes on. It seems like something I could have made easily today, you know, which is why I like that record a lot. Yeah, you know, it did its thing, right? And it got me in the building. It got me back in the door. And then I had similar success follow-ups like Colorblind and then other records that were garnering like Slingshot hundreds of millions of views. And I was like, oh, this is crazy that like people are so interested in the music. Like it made me feel like I was on the right path doing something right. I love that record and I always will love that record. But you know, we gotta keep moving forward and there'll be more, you know, hits. I don't even like to say like, oh, I'm making music just to make another hit, because that's what the process was with my last team.
Yeah.
And it's why I didn't really like the album I put out, because they were trying to just influence it too much. Like if this song's not a hit, why'd you even make it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so now I've completely demolished that philosophy. And just making it for fun and making it for people that genuinely want to hear it, you know.
Yeah. Are you independent now?
Yeah, very much independent.
Was that a choice, or were you, you know, did you part ways with the label?
I'm pretty sure I parted ways with the label due to, you know, I guess I was wild. I was saying some crazy stuff. I was on drugs. And when you're unreliable, a label don't have to put up with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The label don't need you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it's just stuff that I wish I would have learned, you know, before that, obviously. But, you know, it happened. I should have always been independent from the get-go.
Yeah.
I wish we would have we paused and redid it and thought of a different way than going the major route. So I'm very happy to be independent, you know, and you get to keep a lot more control of it, you know.
You said some pretty wild things in your songs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend like I know every song,
that's good.
but you had one lyric that was like, I'm a lesbian, word to Drake. And
yeah.
What does he mean with this?
That was when I forgot what the name of that song was. It was the album. What was that? The album with all the emojis. Why am I drawing a blank with what that album cover? That album by Drake. I don't know. It's one of Drake's albums, bro. And he had a line like something about, I forgot what he said, something about he's a lesbian.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's just funny, bro.
It
Like,
goes
I'm
back
a lesbian too. I like women.
Right.
Yeah.
Got you. And Drake's an influence, right? Or is that accurate?
Yeah. I love Drake. I grew up. I mean, like, you don't grow up just listening to Drake. You still are listening to Drake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I love Drake. I love a good Drake project, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you have another line. I can't remember the song. I forget the name of it. But you talk about your girl and you like just having sex with whoever, or something along those lines.
Yeah, it sounds like something I definitely.
And then I was thinking of Adam 22, and I was like, Xan was above. You know, he's like ahead of the curve with that.
Yeah, man. You know, I don't know if I could ever go as far as Adam in that industry.
Right.
Hey, more power to you though. You know, if you can, to each their own.
Yeah.
I'm not as crazy as I used to be. You know, I used to be a real promiscuous and devious back then. You know, we toned it down a lot. A lot of knowledge a lot of good things come with growing up and becoming more mature. But you know, I still like that fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like that fun.
And I can never quite figure out. So you now you're sober. We've established that.
Yes.
But sometimes the song. What's your latest song? What song is that again? It just dropped.
So pretty. Yeah, so pretty.
So pretty. Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, so pretty.
So then I'm hearing So Pretty, and I'm like, well, okay, he's still on that.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
still.
I'm glad you could notice that too, because with So Pretty, I made that record a long time ago. I made that record back when I think I was still on substances and stuff. You know what I mean? So
that makes sense.
That yeah. You know, you hear it. I want to move away from that though. You know.
Yeah.
I definitely want to move away from that because that's not my vibe no more. It's a cool song though. You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
You resurrected yourself, like, visually.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, with like Noda and that video. That was a great concept. That shout out to Box Boys. They're really good. I don't even know what to call them. They're just amazing people.
Yeah.
You know, they had a vision. Like that I should tell the story. You know, they should tell the story that I'm telling right now and just convert it into to a video. You know, a dope music video.
Yeah.
And they really nailed it with the little time that we had. We had to make it real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't like to interfere with other people's creativity.
Okay.
I'll interject at certain spots to steer it in a direction, but I like to let whatever kind of art they make just influence it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if I respect them as artists and appreciate what they do.
It's always a little morbid, I guess, to see someone depict themselves as dead.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's
does that like?
Yeah, I never wanted to put. I always told people I was like, I'm not putting myself in a coffin.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's bad juju. And
Yeah.
I believe in a lot of that stuff. I didn't know he was gonna put me in a coffin.
Right.
But he told me to get in the coffin. I'm like, all right, Gio, I'll get in the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. What do you is your mom in your life?
Yeah. I take care of my mom. She
Okay.
she can't walk very well, so
Okay.
I've always taken care of her. Yeah, love my mom.
How do they feel, your mom and your dad? Like it seems like this would be really tough on them, and maybe
Yeah. We've like I said in earlier, there's been some dark times.
Yeah.
And definitely with family and people and friends. We're so blessed to be in the spot we're in right now. Because there was times in the past where I thought I would never be able to fix my relationship with certain family members and certain friends. But it's all the drugs talking, man. Once you get off all that stuff, bro, life will fix itself. It may take a long time, but you just gotta get off them drugs, and it will become significantly better than what situation you're in.
So you're anti-drug now.
Yeah, super anti-drug, but not like to a point where like I'm like, you gotta not stop doing drugs, like not no dare.
Not right.
Yeah, no dare. Like this is your
just
drug.
say no.
Yeah, this is your brain on drugs. not like cringy. We're trying to do it in a cool way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your, music. This album, when's it gonna drop? Like people were, by the way, I gotta say, I had to acquaint myself a little bit, because the energy, as you've noted, is like out of sync with me. So I'll be like, I can't do the dark.
But that's another beautiful thing about hip hop is like you don't have to like it. You don't have to listen to it, and that's fine. Like that would never make me feel some type of way.
Right.
Even if a young person said they don't listen to me, that doesn't make me feel some type of way. I'm just not their jazz. I'm not their stuff.
Yeah.
That's just I wish more people thought like that and really just really thought like that. I think we'd have a healthier space, in the hip hop community.
What do you think about social media and like the comment section in particular?
Yeah. The comment section is a scary place.
Right.
Sometimes I'm still scared to go down there. I really don't look at comments anymore. I used to, and it used to drive me crazy, like really crazy. I could see like 100 compliments, but one negative thing would like neglect all that positivity. It's so weird how that works. So I've learned to try to find a healthy balance between reading anything on the internet, the comments, the stuff that gets publicized. You just got to find a good balance.
Can you talk about your relationship with Mac Miller a little bit?
Mac Miller, oh man, even before I had met him, he was such a just I was like the biggest fan. You know what I mean? I love the music, still love the music. It's unfortunate, you know, obviously what happened. We didn't know each other very well, actually. We had hung. I wouldn't even say hung out. I was invited by a good friend at the time, Cole Bennett, to he was doing a video for him, and so I got the honor to meet him. So shout out Cole Bennett for introducing us. Yeah. And we talked a bit, and he was cool, and we had texted a little bit. But the coolest thing was the last show he ever did. He had invited me personally out to that show. He was like, "Oh, come out! It's gonna be a good time." Yeah. And I was like, "That's cool. Like, hell yeah! Like, I'm always down to see someone I'm a big fan of perform." Yeah. Not knowing that would be his last concert, you know. Yeah, and we after the show, I remember in the green room, I've told this a lot to people, like good energy, you know. We talked a lot there, but I told him I was about to dip, and then he just had told me some real important things that I needed to hear before I left, you know. And it was only a couple words. It was just be safe, you know. But like, I really resonated with me. Be safe, and unfortunately, I think he would pass away. A day after my birthday, a month later too. That was hard, you know. Yeah. He could rap. He could rap, you know. And for a white boy, like, yeah, he was cool. He was groovy, bro. And I'm glad that our paths at least collided for a slight second in the grand scope of everything. And I you know, rest in peace to a legend, bro. You know.
Did you see yourself in him at all? In any way?
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw more of myself in him when I was growing up. You know what I mean? And that's what made me love the music and fall in love with all that. Like, every album he dropped early on, from, you know, the early days of the mixtapes, Best Day Ever, Macadelic, I felt like every project resonated with what I was going through in life at the time. All the way, you know, I was young, like 12. And leading up to even when I started becoming a rapper, I was like, bro, it still is resonated with me the same way. And that's fun. That's dope when you find an artist like that you're very just, you know, you just love everything they put out, and they just can lift the mood, you know.
It's funny to hear you say that, because I met him probably when he first started. And he was so hyper. He was just bouncing off the walls. Like, I couldn't even get a picture with him. Yeah. He was just moving around so much.
These are probably the early days.
The early days.
I can see that. Yeah, he was. He's just like a fun man. I wish I could have known him back then too. He seemed like he always liked to have a good time.
Yeah. You know? Do you think your project Be Safe will ever come out?
No, I think if anything, that would probably be like a song, maybe on a project down the road. But you know. He, as far as like he is like in the music, you know, because like he inspires me, like he inspired me a lot in the past. So it naturally, I'm thinking of him when I'm making the music, you know. And it definitely probably directs where it kind of goes, you know. Like, I loved what he did with live instruments, and he was such a talented person. He could play all those instruments, you know. That's so cool. I envy that. So I'm trying to put a lot of live instruments in my new music. It just sounds good, you know. It sounds so much better, in my opinion.
Do you think you'll ever drop, like, I've heard a lot of your projects, I mean, well, some of them at least, they have, you know, a bit of rock and a bit of, you know, otherness. Do you think you'll ever release like a full-blown rock project?
That would be fun. You know, nothing is off the table. You know, I think that would be very interesting. It's funny that you say that. We have a couple songs on the album EP that's very, very like that, very rocky. Yeah.
How has the industry treated you? I mean, when you're on a label, it's different. You know, they're yo, you know what I'm saying?
They treated me really good when I was on the label,
right?
And then not good when I was off the label, right? You know, but that just goes back into what I said about if you're unreliable, they don't need you. They got Adele, they got Billie Eilish, they don't need.
But I mean, people though, not like you know, like the industry, not like the label itself.
Not very good. I had a very similar, like the very typical, like they gonna get you. You know, the music industry, they're trying to get you. I had something similar to that. Like I said, it goes all into. I had a very bad team in the past. That the formula was like hit. If it's not a hit, don't make it. I got the typical music industry kind of routine, but that's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last.
Yeah.
You know,
What about your team now? Like
T snoring right there. T.
T's out. T's
They're
tired,
yeah, they're
man.
great. Yeah.
No, he's working, man. We can take your break, bro. Take your break. No, but you have a movement, right?
Like Xanarchy.
Yeah, Xanarchy.
Yeah, like a clothing line.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a movement. You know, I want to make Xanarchy like a charity eventually. I want it to be everything. You know, I
Yeah.
want to just make it everything.
Yeah. What's your co-founder's name? Steve what's his name?
Oh, Stephen Cannon. Yeah,
Stephen Cannon.
Shout out to Stephen Cannon, man. That's like my brother.
Yeah.
He was when I talk about the person that helped me out the most and I wouldn't be here, it was him.
Okay.
He helped me get my foot in the rap game. He was almost like a manager. He wouldn't call himself a manager in the beginning, you know, but that's definitely what he was doing.
Okay.
And obviously, and that was while he was trying to blow up himself, you know, as an artist. You know, and so when everything worked out, I took my bro with me, and then we glowed up.
Still cool?
Yeah, bro. That's I love Steven, man. Like,
y'all sound pretty good together.
Yeah, bro. It's unorthodox. It doesn't seem like, you know, you see us, a picture of us, like, what kind of music you think they make? I don't know what that's gonna sound like, but we have a very good chemistry on tracks.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So what's next for you now?
What's next? You know, we're doing everything. We have a lot of cool music to drop in the next. Like, we're dropping a song at the end of every month, leading up into the project, which is only a couple more songs, I think. Making new music, getting ready to drop. About to do a six city show, little tour, mini tour, smaller venues, more intimate to build it back up.
Okay.
And as far, I only know like 4 months. You know what I mean? Like, I know everything that's gonna happen in my life 4 months, you know, in advance. Okay. But anything past that, that's the void.
Right.
Anything goes, you know.
So when do you know when the project's dropping?
End of October.
End of October.
End of October. Yeah, definitely.
So I have a question for you that we ask just about everybody.
Yeah.
Your top 5 dead or alive?
Top 5 dead or alive, like people or
rappers?
Rappers. Top 5 dead or alive. You know, I'm a big fan of Big L. Big L.
Now you have to tell me more. Tell me more.
Big L, man. You know, I love Big L because if you heard his raps were so evil. You know what I mean?
He had what was his song? The Devil's Son?
Yeah, there's a lot, you know, and there was a lot of crazy lines about nuns and all. I don't even want to repeat it because you get canceled nowadays for saying a lot of that stuff. It felt raw and just gritty, and he just acted like he didn't care, you know. I love that. I love that energy, and I think a lot of people don't realize that probably influenced a lot of newer artists like that started rapping about a lot of, you know, Odd Future started rapping about a lot of evil stuff too.
That's true.
As soon as I heard that, I don't know if it has any correlation if they listen, but like it reminded me a lot of early Odd Future stuff when I heard it. I was like, they're talking about some crazy stuff just like Big L was, you know what I mean?
No,
and besides all the crazy stuff, Big L was a dope rapper. Rest in peace to him. Dead or alive, second one. Juice WRLD, of course. I had known Juice WRLD a little bit. He was a very humble human being. You know,
he was dope. His freestyles are epic.
He's like the best rapper. You know, he's like the best rapper. He's so versatile, and he would just keep going. I never saw him in the studio, but I just heard what people say. Is like he would just keep going even after the beat would stop. You know, he would just keep going, and that's why there's so much extra stuff coming out, is because he would go an hour just rapping, you know, after, and then they could just take that and build the beat around it. It's actually better that way. That he did it like that. He was an amazing human being. Obviously, Mac Miller, you know, is another one. And this is in no order, obviously. Mac Miller, legend. That was 3, 4, XXX Tentacion.
What about him?
I knew him a little bit too. I had picked him up from the airport in LA the first time him and Ski Mask and Rojas were coming to LA first time ever they were coming to LA. And they had a little buzz on the underground, but they were like not what they would become, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was kind of like the runner, you know, the guy who goes, drives everybody if they're hungry. But I was fine with that because I knew who they were and I was fans. And that's another thing is we spent a few days at an Airbnb, all of us.
Okay.
A bunch of people, including X and all them. and I would just soak up the knowledge and the game. He was an alien. I don't think he was from this planet. The way he spoke, and then seeing what he said, and then watching it unfold in the years after, it was enlightening. You know, it was poetic. He was a prophet. That's 4. A fifth one. Oh, this gotta be good. A fifth one, dead or alive, man. Ooh. Lil Peep.
Lil Peep. I see your tattoo there.
Yeah, that's I should. Yeah, Lil Peep. Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know him. I think we were in the same spot one time, but didn't talk.
Right.
Amazing music. Very inspiring. Very dark and very influential. And you could tell he was. People that make that type of music. Not to compare him to Kurt Cobain, because you can't really compare people like that.
Right.
They're their own people. But it's like people that make that type of music, like Kurt Cobain and Lil Peep, that make really emotional and music that makes you good music that makes you feel like a lot of times it's because they're going through some stuff, you know, like you know, and that's unfortunate that pain and that kind of emotion makes some beautiful music. You know, but very inspiring. Yeah, those are definitely my top 5.
Gotcha. It's funny because I talked to an artist recently and I said, I thanked them. I was like, man, thank you so much for making these songs that got me through life. And he was like, yeah, I was getting myself through life at the same time.
See what I mean?
Yeah. And I never really thought of it like that.
People forget that rappers, celebrities, artists, people in the know, in the face of it, are human beings too. And behind the glass screen of social media that you see, that is a real person and a real human being, no matter what they think of themselves or what their status is. They're just like us. We're all human beings. You know? You gotta respect and appreciate and understand that.
So we recently saw the unfortunate passing of Angus Cloud from Euphoria. You know, I wanted to ask you, we've seen, a few people you've mentioned have died. And I wanted to know if you could give people, young people in particular, some advice on, how to get through things mentally, or, how not to.
Of course. And first, obviously, rest in peace to Angus Cloud. Condolences to his friends and family. Young people are growing up in a very volatile time right now, with social media being at its height right now. It's only going to keep getting crazier. Sprinkle a bunch of fentanyl on top of that mixture, and you got a crazy time for young kids to be growing up. I see why they're hurting, and I've dealt with similar things. I'll say there was a little bit less fentanyl in the beginning, and slowly graduated. Not me doing it, but just in around. I can relate. I was in some dark places sometimes, so I know how bad it can get, and to think it can get badder than that, and that's why some people, take their lives and stuff. I would say what I tell a lot of people close around me, and it's from my own experience, is things will get better in due time. It may take 2 months, 2 years. It may take longer than that. You just have to stay focused, and if you really want to change and get better, if you're dealing with an addiction, just know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you gotta put a little effort into getting there, and it's hard, but you got this,
And one thing I'd like to say is, celebrate the little wins. Like, sometimes it's like, I took a shower today, and just be like, or I got out of bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is some times when you be depressed, you ain't leave the bed for a long time, just oh man, it's hard. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, it is definitely. Well, anyway, man, I just want to say, man, it was a pleasure, man. I talked to somebody, and I said, I'm interviewing Lil Xan today, and they were like, why? And I was like, why not? Like, what do you mean, why? Like, what does that even mean?
I have a lot of haters, and a lot of people don't know me, and that's very common. If you don't know me and you only go based off of what you've seen on the internet, I totally understand why you wouldn't like me. Because I don't like that person either.
Yeah.
But when you meet me, I think people are a little taken back by I'm more articulate. I speak probably better than what they think. What they think is I'm gonna come in here like, yeah, what's up, bro? Like, oh, I'm Lil Xan. Yeah, like no, bro. It's like that's like the Lil Xan persona we talked about. You know, that's not me, and that's why we're doing a lot of cool interviews like this, so I can show you guys that I'm not as ignorant as I used to be. And if you still hate me, that's fine. If you hate me like this, then you just don't like me, and that's fine. It could be that way. You know?
Well, we like you.
Yeah, but that, like hopefully,
Yeah, no, we definitely do. And I would never pass up an interview with you. Definitely.
And I appreciate that. We had a very good conversation.
Yeah, cool cat. I even dressed colorful because I knew you were going to dress like this. So I said, I'm going to dress the opposite. I'm going to definitely wear bright color.
Yeah, I like that, though. I dress like that, too. I like that.
Right. Nah, it's all good. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right.